Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Zilfى, dear students. Today, inshallah, we'll discuss Act 1. Here is a summary of Act 1 with its 7 scenes, which shed light on the events or pave the way to the events of the tragedy. In the first scene, or the first scene opens with expressions of thunder, lightning, crash, moor or desert. These words, which indicate a storm and bad weather, actually they reflect the bad weather or the bad climate or the bad atmosphere of the whole tragedy. In the first scene, we see 3 witches or 3 creatures who are similar to human beings, but actually they are not human beings. They are supernatural creatures. They look like women, but they have beards. They were chanting their songs, saying a strange song, full of fear. One of them was talking about killing a swine. The other was talking about the revenge she did to revenge from a sailor's wife who refused to give her some nuts. So she stopped the air and prevented her husband from sailing. Now, then the third one screamed that Macbeth and his friend Banquo are coming. Actually, they were waiting for Macbeth and his friend Banquo. Macbeth and his friend Banquo were coming from a battle. They were victorious. They are achieving victory and beat the enemy. They look like brave soldiers or brave generals who fought for their country and achieved victory. They met these 3 creatures. These 3 creatures told them a prophecy. For each one, for Macbeth, they said something, and for Banquo, they said something else. For Macbeth, they said that, or they hailed him as Dean of Cawdor. Actually, he was Dean of Glamis. Dean of Cawdor is somebody else, somebody who was killed because he was a traitor. He was killed because he was a traitor. Dean of Cawdor was killed. He was punished by King Duncan because he was a traitor. He supported the enemy of his country. This is what was the first part of the prophecy, that they hailed Macbeth as Dean of Cawdor. The second part of prophecy, they told him that he would be a future king. So, and for Banquo, the prophecy was that he would be less than or less happy than Macbeth, but later on his children will be kings or will have the throne of Scotland. What happened after that, that Duncan announced Macbeth as the Dean of Cawdor, and the messenger came and told Macbeth that he was announced as the Dean of Cawdor, which was a surprise for him. It means that those supernatural creatures know something, and what they knowing everything. And what they told him is something true. And from this point, he started to think of being a king. Now, since the first part of the prophecy had come true, so he said to himself, okay, so the second part should be true. The second part of the prophecy should be true. And because he was, this thought was supported by his inner ambition. He was an ambitious man, and he not only was ambitious, he is interested in power, and he's interested in achieving his ambitions in any way, even murder. And this appears in his soliloquy. You know, a soliloquy is someone talking to himself, but this type of soliloquy discovers the inner aspects of characters. Okay? In his soliloquy, he says that the first part of the prophecy has come true, so the second part should come true. But he also said to himself also that he has to do something to achieve the second part of the prophecy, even if it is murder. He was thinking of murdering the king, King Duncan. And when King Duncan announced his son Malcolm a heir, it means that the next king or the coming king, Macbeth showed joy and happiness, but actually inside him, he was thinking that this Malcolm will stop in his road and prevent him from being a king. So also he was thinking of killing Duncan. No. In scene 4, we meet Lady Macbeth. She was reading a letter from her husband telling her about the prophecy and about the announcement that Duncan made, which made him a Thane of Cawdor. Lady Macbeth understands her husband. She knows that he is ambitious and he is thinking of being a king, and he wants to be a king, but maybe he is a bit weak inside him, and maybe he cannot do anything to achieve this prophecy. So she started to plan for killing the king. And the opportunity came to them. King Duncan, as a reward for them, he wanted to visit them and to stay a night in their castle, in their palace. So she considered this a great opportunity to achieve the prophecy. That is, she planned to kill the king, to urge her husband to kill the king. Okay? And this is what happened later. Also, she had a soliloquy. In her soliloquy, we can understand the conflict she is suffering between her feelings as a woman who is supposed to be kind and gentle and nice and compassionate, and between her ambition and between her plans of murdering the king. So in her soliloquy, she asked supernatural power to free her from kind feelings, from her feminist, from her kind feelings, to make her blood thick, to stop feeling guilty or feeling remorse, to stop her conscience from reminding her of the bad deed she's planning to do. Okay. Also, she looks like a devil. I can imagine that she is a devil planning and urging her husband to kill. When Macbeth came back to his wife and told her that he doesn't want or he doesn't intend to kill the king, she accused him of being a coward. She challenged his manhood, and she also doubted his love to her, which made him, or which urged him to continue his plan and to kill the king. What I want to focus here is the language and the climate, the mood Shakespeare created by using certain types of words. From the beginning, as I told you earlier, he storm, thunder, moor, killing a swine, to kill something, it's something bad, to revenge on the sailor's wife. All of these words bring us to feel worried, take us to feel worried, okay? To put us in bad mood, to expect something, sorry, to expect some bad events in the tragedy. If you look here at the soliloquy of Lady Macbeth, she says, the raven himself is hoarse. Okay. That croak, the fatal entrance of Duncan. When the messenger came to her to tell her that the king is coming to their palace or to their battle, she uses these words. The raven himself is hoarse, that croaks, the fatal entrance of Duncan. Under my battlement, come you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here and fill me from crown to toe, from crown to the top. Fill me, make me blood thick. Stop access to feeling of remorse. If we explain these now, the raven is a black bird which gives a bad voice. Okay, so she called the messenger as the raven because this bird is a symbol of death. This bird is a symbol of death, symbol of bad things. So, and she says that croaks, that says in a bad way, the fatal entrance of Duncan. You see that he announced the death of Duncan, for example, death or killing or murder Duncan. Under my battlement, it means in her palace, but she calls this part of her palace in which Duncan will stay as a battle. Also, battle, a word that indicates blood, war, bloodshed, pain, and so, okay. So the words Shakespeare uses indicate or refer to the general atmosphere of the whole tragedy. It is pain, it is murder, it is bloodshed, it's comparacy, it's treason. Okay? So she says, unsex me, kill all the feelings of kindness in me, because she's a woman and she wants to be free from her kindness as a woman. Okay? Stop, and she says, stop any access to feelings of remorse. Stop my conscience. Stop my conscience. Stop any access to feeling remorse. So she is, in my opinion, she is a devil planning for murdering and urging her husband to kill, which is something very awful and very dangerous. Here you see the words unsex. Gal is the acid, gal and bile and acid bitterness. It's a part, the bile is a part in the kidney, which gives the yellow acid. Okay, but it's very bitter. And so all of these words refer or indicate to the general mood of the tragedy, which is murder. And in the soliloquies of Macbeth and his wife, we can see